Hello there and welcome back everyone. With my empire growing as fastly as it is, and pretty much me being in the dominant state I am now, thanks to the Iconia worlds, the Dragon worlds, and what was left of the Sailing worlds, I think I do not need to worry so much about being put at war with anyone just yet. Nonetheless though, I think we need a kind of a ship that will help cement my authority in the galaxy. So it's time for me to build a medium-style cruiser there that will serve as my watchdog. If nothing else, it will be a ship that will patrol the borders, make sure there's no intrusions at all, and I'm going to try and make that a very strict rule, which is going to be, of course, means I'm going to be at war with everyone, considering the AI of all, how smart the AI is, rather, of them belligerently going through my territory. So we need a ship very capable of doing just that. And of course, none of these ships are going to do there, so we're going to make our own, like usual. Is anyone really surprised? I'm sure as hell not. So let's get started. Oh wait, did I select the right type? There we go, I got medium, I got the right type. Now, how I'm going to do this is probably going to be a little bit different. At least that's what I'm thinking. Because what I would like to do is get like the foundation laid down, essentially. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna put like try and develop the shape that I would like for the ship. So we got this component here, for example, which I want to serve as the front. And then, as I fill out the shape that I would roughly like, then we put detailing or other boxy components on top and bottom of it. Try to give it some actual shape. Some actual form, if you will. That's the intention, that's the hope. Whether it works out that way is a different story entirely, but that's what I'm going with. So, with that said, let's get this figured out. I don't care so much for a gap on there, because like I said, I think I'm going to try and fill up most of it, if possible. Not to mention, it doesn't seem to want to be perfect fit regardless. Because I'm getting a bit of a clipping issue, so I'm going to have to probably do something to fix that anyway. I may not have a choice in the matter. But I'm going to get the flat outline here, try and get a vague shape of what I want. I want something sleek, basically a cruiser size there. I want to flip this over, and we're going to try and get a silhouette, I guess would be the best way to describe it, of my ship. Although, there's going to be some issues like getting it to work the way I would like, but we'll deal with that as it happens. Like, this would be nice for the back portion, I just don't know if I want to widen it or not. I think that's good there, because at the worst case this would serve as like a wing, so I can, because there's conveniently like impulse thrusters on the back there, so that works out well. Now, would this even be good as a flat component? Probably not. And we got these big massive components which I could kind of flatten down, I guess. Maybe that's what I want to do. Can I flatten this to the point where it actually fits with everything else? I'm going to say no. I'm going to go out of a limb and say that probably won't happen, but I'm going to try it nonetheless. Okay, I got it flattened to a reasonable amount. The textures, of course, are out of whack, so ultimately I want to make sure the textures are not really showing as much by the end of this. Now, the real question is, do I like it this way, or do I want it the other way? Does that have more potential? Whoops. Damn it. I do not want to move that. But I'll probably need to adjust it anyway. I think I kind of like it more with the slope here, to be perfectly honest, but the sizing would suggest this would be back a little bit more. And this would be a little bit too high anyway, so I need to shrink that down a little more. So that way, hopefully, this works out well, and then I can just cover over that nicely. That's the theory. Okay. I think this is a silhouette I'm decent with. I just gotta figure out what other components I can add to it. Do I want to put stuff on top there? And what? Because I'm wondering if I want something like, do I actually want to move this front forward a bit? So that way I can add something to kind of curve back into that superstructure, as it were. This is a little bit different. I'm not entirely certain how it's going to work. Chances are it's probably not going to do it. But I like the idea of experimenting with it and see if it works or not. And also I need to flip this upside down. Actually, let me just flip it the other way. There. Although it is a bit off. It is not exactly consistent, so I don't know how much I like that. So let's try another component. Is there anything else I can use, or hell? Maybe I could just use these components again, if it wasn't actually at an angle, which is a bit problematic. Come on, give me that middle component. I want to see how this looks. Since I can't just copy the back wings there, I have to use these. I'm gonna have to see how this looks. Can I make this work in a way? Clip it in there, flip it around. Maybe. Actually, let me try a different kind of inversion. Is there a way I can do a different kind of version? What am I aiming for? I think I have an idea what I want. Okay, I think I know what now to do. I know what to do. I was just thinking about it the wrong way. So, okay, I think I'm getting there. Now I just gotta flip it the other way. Flip it the other way. Try. Is this what I'm looking for? It would need to be narrowed a little bit first. This feels like a stupid idea as I'm doing it. I can't lie. Feel like I'm making a horrible mistake right now, but that adds a little bit to it there. Now comes the next part of trying to add some girth, I guess, to it. Actually make this a ship. I guess that's the best way to put it. Now, since this is going to be like a command, well, come to think of it, do I actually want the front to be the cockpit area? That may be too soon. And nonetheless, I'm going to need something put on top anyway. So what are some good smaller components that I can fit on there? Because this is like meant to be half a ship, so, or meant to be on the side, so I don't think these are going to do it. I'm going to go out of the limb and say this is not going to do it. So we're going to have to adjust. No, wait, that's offset, damn it. I want proportional scaling. See if I could shrink that down and just worry about making it higher. And the one thing I do not want is to make this more like a Federation or Star Trek ship. Let's try to avoid that because I accidentally start to make it that way. So this is potential. This is okay, it's a little bit better now. It's inside the ship. Real question now becomes, do I spread it out some? Well, if I spread it out again, the issue is connecting the 2 points, so I may not have much choice but to connect it. And I dislike that front there. It's a little off sync, so I may have a bit of an issue trying to fill that in. That could be a foreseeable problem. Unless, actually, can I just adjust the said scaling? Is there any way you can just stretch it forward? Maybe that'll help fill out a small amount. What happens if I stretch it too much? Well, it's not bad. There's a little bit of issue with the clipping. So I gotta be careful how I adjust this. I don't know. Am I okay with that? I don't think I do because of like I said, but we can work around that to some extent. To some extent, I just want to make sure it fills out that front, if nothing else. Or do I make it stick out more? Because yeah, because of it curving back inward, that changes the dynamic a little bit there that I'm okay with. And I'm seeing a little bit of texture glitching there too, which I'm not liking, damn it. Why does this have to be a pain in the ass? I can see it too. If I stretch it out like that, there's a bit of a hole. Actually, it's not too bad now I don't see it. So never mind. We averted disaster there. But now comes the next phase. continuing on with the slope, because I don't want it to be too narrow. It still needs to be a lot bigger, I think, a lot thicker. So there's going to be a lot of little cosmetic pieces to throw on. Like this component here. Is there any way I can use this in a way that I can get 2 of these components? And let's see, they are a bit off angle, so I may have to rotate them, but let's see how they look when I shrink it down. Whoops, and no, I did not want to hide you. Now, how do I feel about that as a component? Does it need to move it back some? Be part of the wing? Well, if it's part of the wing, it's going to clip through the thrusters, so maybe not a good idea. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that may not be a good idea. Not to mention, it still needs to sink down some. Well, actually, maybe I don't need to sink down some, I just make a copy of it. Is that okay? Again, I still need... I think maybe it's too soon. Let me work from the middle and then work my way out. I think that's a smart idea. I think that would make more sense. I just need to find the right components to add some extra thickness here, because I can hide the majority of this component here. Serve as, well, I'm going to have to, again, like always, adjust the axis quite a bit with proportional scales. So a lot of this is going to take some work and time until I find the right sweet spot that I want. Because how does a lot of this stuff look even? I'm almost half tempted to just stretch the set axis out. Whoops, that's the wrong component. I don't even remember what it was before, damn it. So, I may have just screwed myself there a little bit. Let me just go with 58 for now, and then I'll adjust as needed. I was hoping this was the one I was adjusting, so then I can put into place. Or maybe do I just invert it? Would that be a better idea? Would this be a better idea? I don't know what to make of the back there so much, so we'll come to it in time. It is adding more to it. It is adding more to the ship, at least. Now, let me try rotating this. Although it's going to be kind of flat, I don't think this is going to be ideal. And I keep getting the wrong axes, so this is a bit of a recurring theme for me. I am horrible with figuring out my axes. And of course, it's too wide, and I don't think the top actually... having it up flush on top really contributes much, as I think is an issue. We'll have to see. It can add a nice little slope, but not much else. If I were to be perfectly honest. Let's see, do I make a copy? Well, apparently... oh, it was already sticking on the bottom there, so never mind, it was just a good size. I just have no way to determine how it looks underneath. Not very well. So we're going to continue on with the middle. We're going to hopefully get something that can fill out that hole some. Is there some good components for that? Because this is supposed to be a scouted survey ship. Technically, it's kind of, I guess it's going to be a lot like a survey ship in that sense. We just got to make it unique, and we got to make it look like it has some teeth on it, which is going to be the tricky part. Because I'm starting to feel like the ship may be too flat, but as we get this down, get this figured out, we'll refine the process a little bit. Right now, it's just a lot of experimentation, as I already said before, because I'm trying something new, something different, and hoping I can get something a promising result as a much more simpler way of designing my ships. Or at least a more effective way. Not necessarily simpler, I guess, but at least a way that works. Oh, did I just slow that damn thing down? Yeah, I did. So this adds a lot more detail to it, but now the question becomes, do I widen it? Or do I just narrow it? Because I want to try to avoid the lane sticking if I can help it. Try and minimize on that a bit. I think there's potential. Maybe if I stretch out the set axis some, that might be good. And the question then becomes, is that becoming too much? How thin does it look? Oh, actually, it's visible through the entire ship, so maybe that's okay, but I think now we're starting to create a bit of a monster. Because all these textures are starting to really go out of whack as a result of all this. So I gotta tread carefully now. This may not end well. I just want to point that out. And if I can help it, I would like to put another more blue thrusters on the bottom, in the back there, to kind of give it a consistent theme. Because I like the potential of the back. I'm starting to regret these points sticking out though, so let me try and shrink that down some. Oop, and it's moving everything as I do it, so that wasn't a mistake. We're gonna have to put our dome back together, I think. Or do I need to? That's a little bit... I don't know how I feel about this. It looks okay, yet it doesn't. Oh, and I'm changing the scaling, stupid me. That's very effective. What the hell am I making, I wonder? Probably nothing good. Yeah, it's too blocky anyway, so I'll have to try and form it back in as normal. And we'll offset back inward, because why not? I don't want this to be too like a dome, if I can avoid it. The question becomes, how do I go about correcting that? Do I offset some more? Then we get that issue with the front again, which I'm disliking. I'll have to think about it for the next episode, but we'll focus on what I have right now. See if we can make some good progress. Focus on getting this offset, get it all fixed out, and get a nice, like, good, consistent shape to it. Because this design has potential. It is just a textured mess, if nothing else. Which actually could be corrected some if I invert some of the textures there, so that's something I'll have to think about as well. See if inverting helps a bit. Well, it fixes some of it there. It's a little more consistent now that back piece is corrected, but where do I go from here? Because the big issues I dislike, the front portion here, this nose, again, the texture messing, a little bit of the lighting's an issue, and I think I want to be about 30% wider, a little bit thicker there overall. And ideally, if I could somehow I would like it to be more of a slope, a curve. But a lot of these components don't allow for it. So actually what I'm thinking, let me go back to my Iconium pieces, although there's going to be a bit of a delay as it's trying and loads all those components, so give it a moment now, because I can't even rotate the ship or move anything, so hopefully I can find a solution that helps with that some. Like I said, I'm going to have to remember to preload it there, but I got to be more used to the idea of using multiple components. And we got some cool Archean ships there that I can also use, and well, basically everything. Ooh, what I'm really curious is there some section here for like mercenaries? Let me find that. Is it possible I could find something for mercenaries anywhere? Custom, it might be in there somewhere. Altarians, Dragon, Terran. Just give me a moment here. I'm relishing all the possibilities right now. Kryn, Iridians, your Iconians, I'll get back to you. Salins, DLC, no clue what that is, unless that's Dreadlord stuff. Yeah, it's Dreadlords. Sante, Archeans, and do we have one? No, Taurians. Ooh, mercenaries! I was talking about that earlier. So there's a possibility we can make our own ships using mercenary components, so that's cool. I like that idea. Where I can make it a theme for like my own custom race later on down the road, probably not, but we'll see. Now, like I said, I like a nice bit of a slope maybe. Whoops. Where the hell did I just put that component? Not in the right spot. But the one issue I'm going to have, or concern, is because the texturing is also going to be a bit of a sore thumb that I'm not really liking a whole lot. Because it's kind of going to stand out. And this may be a wrong component. I think I want to try something newer. Again, texture is going to be a bit of an issue. I don't like the possibility or what this could mean, especially if I make it like the central part of my ship. So what can we do about this? What ways do I have that I can actually make this work? Because I'm familiar with the Iconian components. It's not too difficult to get the slope there, it's just the trim is gonna oh crap, I moved everything. I'm ruining it. Ruining it with my misclick. I don't even know how high it was, so this is a bit of a problem. I may have just ruined my ship there trying to vaguely click for this component. It didn't go anywhere. Not to mention it's not even in the right spot. It's a medium ship, so it's not like it's going to be a fast process, considering I want to try to put more detailing or cosmetics to it. And ideally, make it look like a heavy cruiser as opposed to my Raider and Bandit, which look more like bombers than anything else, quite frankly. Whereas I'm paranoid, considering how the Bandit, I talked about before, being a small type class, I feel like it should be more of a corvette rather than a massive fighter. So it seems like it's not suited for the ship design, or the ship size, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm a bit paranoid about that to an extent. That it doesn't suit its size or role very well. But hey, they leave a fag there with the size type, so there's no way to really know what's considered what, I suppose. Now, I can at least have this wing sticking a little bit, to an extent. What happens if I invert it? I like it a tiny bit sticking out like that, but that doesn't help my problem I'm having. It doesn't really help all that much. If anything, it may look more flatter, I might argue. I could argue that's because the wings kind of like fit well into form there at the end. But now, what was the component I was looking for before, actually? Oh yeah, it was this component here, trying to get in the right spot, but it's not letting me. And nothing wants to highlight for me, so I'm left wondering. So let's try this. I'll invert the texture for now, just so I guess it stands out more. I was hoping it would help make it a little bit easier for me, but not so much. Now, we'll just put it in roughly some good place, I guess, and see how it looks. Although it's about to sink in there, so it's not doing much for me. And if I flip it upside down, nothing happens. Okay, that's good to know. And I could conveniently have a copy there, which is kind of the first time I could probably do that. Now, how does that look? More texture issues. Stands out a bit. The white maybe stands out a little bit better. Can I get another component like that? And the big question is, do I use the same component? Or can I actually use this engine actually instead? It's because the thrusters don't need to show, so that's not a problem at all. And maybe that can add a nice consistent seam to the middle, because it has metal trim there, so it could work. I just gotta make sure it's placed properly now, which might be a bit more a little harder than I thought. Unless I flip it the other way, would this be better, I wonder? Because the engine should conveniently be covered. I don't know. I don't know if that's what actually happened, so when I have the skin inverted there, it kind of seems like it stands out a bit. And again, more texture issues. Story of my life for this episode. If only a little bit. Let me try winding it there and see if that helps a bit. Yeah, I don't think that did a whole lot to help the issue, did it? This is not looking promising. Again, I still like the potential of it. It just seems way too flat. I don't know if I'm okay with that or not. I don't know. And if anything, a lot of these Iconium pieces might be good for like the end here. Add a little bit of a curvature to the sharp ends of like the thrusters here. I think that's where they might be more effective. If only I could find some nice components that don't have so many metal trims on it, that might not be as much of an issue. That would be my big concern with that. So, is there anything I can use? Well, I could try. Let me just slap one on there to see how it looks. Although, with the rough ends there, it might not be as I think it would look. Unless I invert it, maybe it'll look better. At least then I can use it for like weapon component. What is it? Not weapon components, but use it as a weapon slot. Ideally, if I fit it right. Now, let me invert it this way. See, that might work a little better. I think we may be starting to get some progress. If only slight. If only slight. Let's fit into place. See, might have to shrink it down some. So that way it's not, the metal trim's not intruding out of the wing. And now sink it in. And voila. The textures stand out, which is a bit of an issue like I said before. I don't know if it's just me being paranoid or not, to be perfectly honest. That's causing it to stand out so much. And me pointing it out doesn't help matters either, to be perfectly honest. But I think it's helping. Possibly. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll just roll with it until we find something that works. Because hey, the campaign's not really going anywhere, right? It is going to be pretty one-sided if I choose to just destroy everyone. So why not just kill them with style?